you so. We sing for you no matter rain or snow. You know it's true, our love for you. So win the cup and make our dreams come true. TFC.
After witnessing the pain, the agony of a heartbreaking defeat at their home field, Toronto FC is back, continuing to march forward to the Supporters' Shield, the Canadian Cup Championship, and now this moment at MLS Cup again, a rematch, a chance at redemption. Now the players will have to take care of it on the field, but these fans, the supporters, tell the story.
Make our dreams come true. TFC.
People responding like that and just the crowd energy, like that was something that you got addicted to really quickly, and it was incredible to see. I think what, predecessors of ours like Red Patch and New Sector did was it sort of stepped everybody else's game up. People came to Toronto and thought, oh, there's another level.
Kings of the North, how did the group overall start or evolve?
So I'm a co-founder of the group along with a couple other guys. We were sitting around and during the 0-9 streak, man, what are we doing? Like, is this gonna be worth the heartache? But we were like, yeah. So we doubled down and created the group and sort of started finding like-minded people, supporting your club and supporting the people around you in the seats. I think that's as important as supporting the club to us, right? You share all the highs together, you share the lows. You lose a cup final and you come back to a bar and everybody's sort of hugging and patting each other on the back and saying, we'll get them next year. Well, don't worry, it's only getting better. Like, this love of this team in your city brings you together in ways that you would never imagine. And I feel like sometimes to be a supporter, it's kind of like the logic of the irrational, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like this, that nobody should have a love for a sports team or an entity like that, but we just do. That's just how it is. It's kind of tribal. Toronto supporters just don't quit. We just don't know when to quit. Can I ask you a question? Sorry,
Yeah, please, yeah, of course.
In terms of being a player, you're on a pitch and you're focused on the game, right? But how much does the sort of supporter thing impact you as a player or as a team? Is that something you notice? Is it something that you sort of have to block out?
I remember 2011 losing to the Galaxy in LA, and the next year getting a rematch, another crack at them. And we warmed up in the far corner, and the whole stadium was just LA.
Yeah.
And there was one long sliver of orange in the corner, and it was right by where we warmed up. So many faces I recognized from Houston, because you do get to know the people that are at the tunnel when you walk out, or after the match, signing autograph, you meet kids at appearances, things like that. And I remember thinking, they've flown here to be here for this moment. This is a family vacation. This is a memory. And it was for me too, and my family and my friends. So I do think players reflect on it, and I do think it can add something too. That relationship, I think, is something special about our sport that you don't always see in others. I'm almost afraid to say it. If TFC doesn't win it and suffers another loss at home, to the Sounders no less.
Nope. 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 I'm not even gonna entertain it.
Okay. Just not happening.
Not.
Okay. What am I looking at right here?
So this was the original design. That was produced by Kyle Stewart. It was him and a couple of other Red Patch boys who were working with some of the other people from the Supporters Alliance that came up with this idea. Everyone involved on this end were all Red Patch boys, but it was one guy who was like, hey, well, just speak to Frank. Frank does that kind of stuff.
And the idea was to recognize the best team for the duration of the season, not just the MLS Cup. This is the mold, the cast of how it's made. And I didn't know it was in Toronto either. Can I touch it?
Absolutely.
All right. It's the closest I would get to the Supporters' Shield here.
So there's two of these pieces. So at the end of the season, once someone clinches, we'll engrave it here. We'll send it off.
Why don't you just keep winning it here? It's more convenient, right?
It's so much more convenient. So hopefully going forward, that's the case. I guess the neat thing about it is that there's been no one sort of outside that had anything to do with this, right? This is purely a supporters thing. It was designed by supporters. It was funded by supporters. It was built by supporters. So it's kind of neat in that aspect.
What are the Red Patch Boys? Where does that name come from?
The name comes from, there's a military history to it. I believe it was a World War II Canadian regiment, whatever, that had Red Patch, and that's where the Leaf logo came from as well.
Your history with the club goes back quite a ways as well.
Yeah, we were at the first game. I had my boy there and babe in arms, and we were at the first home opener there, and had season tickets off the hop in 109. Moved to the supporter section probably about 3-4 years ago.
I've heard you're a soccer family. Your kids play soccer. They don't
My boy
play
plays
hockey,
soccer, yeah.
right?
No.
That's different for Canada.
It's one of those things you just try your kids in whatever, and whatever they take to it is what it is kind of thing. I don't think he found hockey particularly civilized, and the cold rinks and the skates and all this equipment. And
Are you seeing that starting to change a little bit, where more, especially kids here in Toronto, are taken to soccer, and is TFC a part of that?
TFC is certainly a part of that. Anytime you have a winning team, you're going to win a generation. And it's been a long time coming, right? I mean, a lot of the old dogs there have been there since day one. So it's nice to have gone, basically from the bottom all the way to the top and be around to see it. With the boy, it's obviously going to be, pretty special, because that's something that he'll remember for the rest of his life or whatever. So it's good to be a part of that. It's good to be a part of a championship game. I mean, everyone's like, oh, you remember the first time that, so-and-so won or whatever. It's kind of cool to say, yeah, I was there.
Give a prediction about what's going to happen, because this is going to air after the match.
My prediction is that Toronto FC is going to leave no doubt this year. They're going to win 2-0 in regulation. They're going to win 2-0.
Wow. Mark it down.
That market, you heard it here first.
I guess the best place to start is with that moment.
With that moment.
Yes. You said you got some messages on Twitter from people hitting up to being like, you're crying, are you okay? Or I cried too.
Yes, I mean, some people didn't get which game it was. They thought that it was at the final and it was sad tears. Or like, no, that was like the Easter Conference Finals. Those were happy tears. Up until like maybe 2 years ago, it was so rare that anybody would be wearing something TFC. Like you would be seeing somebody wearing a TFC anything and it'd be like, yeah, TFC, yeah. Like you'd bond just because. And then all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. Like it's on the news and like it's front page on the regular paper, not just on the sports pages. And it's like, wow, this is getting so big. When I first moved to Canada, TFC was just being announced. Like that was 2006. And, I come from Brazil where soccer is obviously huge. The year that I moved here, there's a team starting. It's like, wow, that's great. Definitely gonna join that.
And how did you become the drummer?
That first year that we were in 127, there were 2 drums and there was 1 drummer. And I'm sitting there one day, it was Mother's Day weekend, and I'm like dressed up for my Sunday's best, and and I see that drum sitting there. I'm like, dude, no, that can't just sit there. I gotta make some noise. Come on, let's go. And then I picked up those sticks and I never put it down again. That was it. That was the end. Seeing everybody's expressions, like almost experiencing the game through their point of view. Because if you're watching, you're paying attention and you're feeling your own emotions, but when you're feeling everybody else's emotions too, because you can feel their tension when something goes close, you can hear it. And then I think we lost 1 game at home this season, and it's like it really feels like you feel like you're part of that.
Any specific goal scorers?
I think Vasquez might give us one. He's been good, he's been consistent, and I feel like he's hungry for it.
It's through for Armando Cooper. Armando Cooper off the post and knocked in by Vasquez. Toronto FC will win MLS Cup for the first time. Vasquez makes sure deep into stoppage time and the celebrations can begin. As the team in red celebrate winning the 2017 MLS Cup, as the referee takes a check of the watch. In a year when they have rewritten the record books, the greatest season in MLS history is now complete as Toronto FC win their first ever MLS Cup. And the trophy will have a home north of the border for the first time.
Toronto FC champions. I remember standing in this exact spot a year ago and feeling the disappointment, the heartbreak of the fans right behind me. And now you turn around a year later and these same faces are crying tears of joy. You can talk about this team on the field all you want. Supporter Shield, Canadian Cup, MLS Cup champions, best team ever. But it's the culture around the club that matters most, and it's the people that support this club in the toughest of times and in the best times that get to have their moment now. And getting a chance to experience it with these fans, there's no better place to end the season than right here.
Champions, no time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.